Should you pick the Atomos Ninja V or the Blackmagic Video Assist 12G 5-inch to use with your GH6? I've been using and testing both of them, and the choice is not as obvious as you might think. Let's talk about it. If you're new here, I'm Sebastian and welcome to the channel. The Video Assist's build quality is definitely better. It's metal and high quality plastic as opposed to the Ninja V, which is very plasticky and almost feels a bit fragile. But that does keep the weight down at 360 grams, whereas the Video Assist comes in at 410 grams. Both have a 1080p screen, both have HDMI in and outputs, but the Blackmagic Video Assist has an SDI in and output, whereas the Ninja V, you'll have to buy an adapter in order to get SDI in and outputs. The Video Assist has 2 battery slots for Sony NP-F style batteries, so the win for battery life obviously goes to the Video Assist, because the Ninja only has 1 battery slot. They can also both be powered via a 12-volt barrel connector, but the Ninja needs a battery eliminator for that, whereas the Video Assist has a dedicated 12-volt input. Both have a bright screen, but the Ninja is 1000 nits, whereas the Video Assist has a 2500 nit screen, which is a lot brighter than the Ninja screen. But both have the option to adjust the brightness of the screen as well. Both devices are quite loud. The fan noise is quite significant. But with the Ninja, there are settings for how the fan behaves, which is awesome because you can set it to lower the fan speed when you record, and then it comes up when you stop recording to cool it down again. The Video Assist doesn't have any settings for fan behavior, so you'll have to just see what it does, I guess. In terms of the overall design and the placement of the ports, it's quite similar. The HDMI ports and the SDI ports on the left side, and the power button on the right side with the other ports. But one thing I really don't understand about the Video Assist is that the USB-C port is so close to the middle quarter 20 mount that if you put it on a monitor mount, the USB-C port is unusable. You can't put a USB-C cable in it. I really don't understand how they thought that might be useful. Startup time on the Ninja is unnecessarily long. The Video Assist, on the other hand, just takes one push of the button and it's almost instantly ready to use. In terms of audio, both can record a lot of embedded audio channels. The Ninja can record 8 embedded digital ones and a stereo analog one. The Video Assist, however, cannot record analog audio because it has no mic or line input, like the Ninja does. Both devices can record in a variety of codecs, different ProRes and DNX flavors, so not much of a difference there, except for RAW video, which I'll get to in a minute. And the Ninja can also record in H.265 with a paid upgrade. As far as storage media goes, there's only one option on the Ninja, an SSD in a caddy. But it's also the cheapest media, but it sticks out. There are some other options on the market, but they're quite expensive. The Video Assist gives you an SD card slot. A SanDisk Extreme Pro V90 card was sufficient for recording B-RAW in a 5:1 compression ratio. And there's the option to record to an external SSD via USB-C. which is great, but yeah, the location of the USB-C port. You get all the usual tools on both, like focus peaking, grids and waveform and false color. But the Ninja has some more features, like onion skin, where you basically do a screen grab that you can then superimpose semi-transparently on the image. More anamorphic D-squeeze options. The Video Assist does have an extra feature, because it can act as a webcam when connected via USB-C, which is a feature the Ninja doesn't have. But the Video Assist has a very intuitive interface. Very nice, except for the waveform filling the whole screen. You can adjust opacity or do picture-in-picture, but I much prefer the implementation of the waveform on the Ninja. You can resize it, adjust the opacity, make it small in a corner. I much prefer that. But there's one thing with the Ninja that's really annoying, which I already talked about a lot on this channel. And that's how the exposure tools behave when a viewing LUT is used. The Ninja takes the exposure reading based on the image with the viewing LUT applied. This, in my opinion, really needs to be addressed by Atomos. The Video Assist, on the other hand, takes the exposure from the original log image, even if you're using a viewing LUT, which is what makes most sense to me. You want to be able to expose for the log format and not with a viewing LUT, which is probably Rec 709 applied. The interface on the Ninja is less intuitive, but much more customizable. Overall, I prefer the customizability of the Ninja over the intuitivity of the Video Assist. So both of these devices can record raw video with compatible cameras. The problem is, one can only record ProRes RAW, the Ninja V, and the other one can only record B-RAW, the Video Assist. In my testing, they produce an equally good image with the GH6. But the problem is that there are compatibility issues with different NLEs. There is no support for ProRes RAW in DaVinci Resolve, and while there is support for B-RAW in other NLEs, you don't get full control, like the highlight recovery tool in Resolve, as far as I know. I'll put some sample footage up for you to download and play around with. There's a link in the description. It's on my new Patreon page, where you can support me by picking one of the 3 tiers. All 3 offer the same thing, but I wanted to make it accessible to as many people as possible. So if you have a low budget, pick the low tier, and if you have a bit more to spend, you could consider picking a higher tier. Either way, I would appreciate your support very much, and it'll help me make more interesting tutorials, reviews and giveaways. My Patreon page will fill up over time with things like sample footage, correction LUTs and lots more. Thanks for supporting me on YouTube and hopefully on Patreon. Back to the video now. I am really annoyed with Blackmagic and Atomos for not giving us both options with these devices, B-RAW and ProRes RAW. I mean, Panasonic is giving us both in the GH6. But because there apparently is some bad blood between Blackmagic and Atomos, we have to buy both devices to be able to shoot both RAW formats. And only B-RAW is supported in DaVinci Resolve. I mean, they both already support the other ProRes codecs. So come on Blackmagic and Atomos, get over it. I'm looking forward to the day they leave their disagreements behind and add support for both RAW formats. So, which one to pick? I think the choice is obvious if you need or want to shoot one of the RAW formats. It's one or the other depending on which RAW format fits your workflow. But if you don't shoot RAW, the decision becomes more complicated. They both have all the tools and codecs you need, but the Ninja has more features and the Video Assist has a much more intuitive interface. Both have good media storage and power solutions, but the Video Assist is more flexible in those areas and offers redundancy with the 2 battery slots. They both have a high quality 1080p screen. The Ninja has a slightly bigger screen, but the Video Assist is much brighter. But in my experience, the Ninja screen is usually bright enough. Both offer good connectivity. The Ninja can be expanded with an SDI module, but the Video Assist has that out of the box, but doesn't have the mic input that the Ninja has. And then there's the price. At the time of recording, the Ninja V retails for around $400, whereas the Video Assist is much more expensive at around $800. I think this tips the scale over to the Ninja V, unless you need to shoot B-roll, of course. I'm going to leave it up to you. I hope this video was helpful. If so, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and maybe hit that notification bell. And I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.